Welcome everyone back to Into the River, Land of Confusion, episode 5. So this episode is kind of taking a breath, catching back up with myself and where I am and sharing that with you guys. When I originally decided to do this, it wasn't supposed to be a series, this episode, one and done, about my experience in this community that I've given the last couple years of my life to. I thought it was just going to be like a whole complete thing, and I recorded this thing that had a beginning and an end, and it all tied together cohesively. And after uploading the first half of it, a bunch of stuff happened and changed. I started talking to people, I started being reached out to, and before I could add the conclusion part that I had recorded, I realized that I didn't have that conclusion anymore. And I didn't know what my conclusion was. I don't know if there will ever be a conclusion. So it's turned into a series at this point. I had no intention of it being a series. I have no idea when the series will be over. I hope it will not drag out for much longer, because I would like this thing to become a resource space where anyone in the future can come and look at these episodes. But I also realize now, after talking to so many people and hearing their experiences, that there needs to be enough information covered that kind of like relates to all of the dynamics that may affect people's lives in a negative way around this whole situation of the Tori Says community and or Tori, depending on how you think about it. Another thing I want to mention is that not all of us are going to have the same conclusion. Some people are going to recognize, yeah, there's things wrong with this community. There's things that are very orchestrated for bad on some level, but Tori is using this space to teach us and to show us how to overcome and to build character and all of that. And that is a very real possibility. I do not in any way subscribe to that, but a lot of my friends and people in this situation, of course, still feel that way, and maybe they're right. I respect you if that's what you believe. I have no desire to steer anyone's opinion in any direction, but I do have a desire to share the truth. I think that one thing that I've learned since we started doing these, especially since the interviews started coming out, that people are realizing what happened to them wasn't an isolated incident. It's happened to many others, and it's giving a lot of people who are either on their own or somewhat ostracized or whatever, a sense of camaraderie. It's validating to their experience, knowing that this was perpetuated on them on some level, if that's the conclusion they're making. And it's just really nice for someone to tell you that, like, dude, you're not crazy. That shit was fucked up. Some people don't think it's fucked up. Some people think it's justified. Some people think it's happenstance. Some people think that myself and Brad are somehow operators and we are, I don't know, feds operators, and we're doing this big plan to take out Tori and ruin the country. I'm not surprised by that accusation whatsoever. I've seen it made many times about many people. Some people believe that I am misled in trusting certain people and coming to these conclusions because I've been like pushed or encouraged. The point is, everyone has their own take. And I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to tell my story and to give others a platform to tell their story. And I actually trust that every person watching or listening to this has discernment and will make the best decision that makes sense to them. Period. I have no desire to control what anyone does with their life after this or to alter the community. I would not mind if more people ended up speaking up if they're there and not allowing tyranny. I wouldn't mind if people decided to leave who thought it was toxic, but that's not my intention. We all got into this because we want to save our country. although I'm not ready to share my conclusion because I don't have one, I do know that the amount of obstacles that have been put in the way, I feel have sidetracked us from the reason that we came here. And I feel in a lot of ways for many of us, our focus has shifted. That's okay. It's all been a part of the journey, and I've benefited greatly from it on certain levels. But I'm asking myself what I want to do with this and how long I want it to go on. And I don't feel that I'm in the driver's seat. I feel that I'm trusting God. I don't feel a release to stop this yet, even though I really want to. And the reason I want to is because the day that I left the community, after the sadness, after the grief, there was the freedom that I had discussed. And it was a feeling I hadn't felt in a very long time, like a deep sense of freedom, like I could breathe, like I didn't have to, I don't know, like I wasn't attached to this organism anymore. And I was really excited. And every day that followed, I was really excited. And then when I went to do this episode, I was like, this is going to be washing my hands clean of this and putting it out into the world as I do. And then it turned into this thing. And there's a part of me that's sad and struggling because I feel like I'm back in the organism or connected to it again. But I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing. I can't explain it any other way than my heart is telling me this is your exit, and it's not going to be as easy as you thought, but it has a purpose. So every time I release an episode, I can literally feel the energy on the other side. There's people watching this to look for legal issues. There's people watching this to look for something to use against me or whoever. I mean, at this point, no one can use anything against me. I've pretty much committed all the cardinal sins of turning my back on the quote OG. But I can feel that energy. There's a lot of people who are hurting, that are feeling exhilarated and understood and not alone. I can feel that. So there's a sense of joy. There's people who are hurting and they agree with almost everything because they experienced it far worse than I've ever experienced it, but they're still willing to turn on anyone who is not interested in following Tori or says things that maybe she doesn't have the best of intentions. So there's a lot of anger, pain, relief, a lot of shit's coming out. But I think that's what happens when you bring things into the light that are uncomfortable. My handle was on Telegram, Truth Hurts. And the reason I had that handle was because truth has hurt me. But when I choose to look at it honestly and confront it, it's been a very freeing and healing thing. But a lot of the time, that truth that scared me was about something in me. I'd say almost every time that I had to confront. When you put something like this out into the open, there's going to be every possible response. Some of the responses are revealing of confirmation that it was a cult-like dynamic. You know, there's a lot of people who are telling their followers in their channels that are kind of parallel to Tori's or close to Tori's, not to post links, not to share any of this, which was expected. A lot of people saying we don't want to look there. Even if these people were very comfortable with talking about drama and exposing everyone around our community at one time, with this particular topic, for some reason, it is a lockstep across the board. Do not share, do not look at it. Obviously that doesn't work, but I'm like, when you're told not to look at something, what is it about it that you fear? Because if this wasn't resonating with anyone, or there was no truth to this, then it should be shared. Then it could be mocked. It could be laughed at. but you can't argue with people's stories. You can't argue with people's experiences. You can argue with their conclusions. So what is this going to be? I don't know. I hope it doesn't go on for much longer, but I feel right now very strongly that the most important thing that should happen is that I give everyone an opportunity to share your experience and your story. So I am fully open. I'm fully committed to this. This is not easy for me, but I think that every time someone speaks out and tells the truth, that chains are broken, that veils are lifted from people's eyes, and that freedom sets in. We need a lot of healing right now, a lot of us. One thing I've noticed in the last week is how much PTSD people have, myself included. I'm feeling everyone's energy, and it's stirring up some stuff in me that I didn't realize that we're still kind of lingering. So this space is provided for as long as you want, to a degree, until I feel it's completely right. But I'm opening the door right now for your story to be heard. If you want to share it, you want to come on, you want to interview, you want to talk about it, 100%. Reach out to me. All the links are below. Find me in Brad's chat. I can't have a handle on my name because people are reporting my account. So it's the only way to protect me and make me available on Telegram. So find me below in Brad's chat under Ashley Joe. You can email me. You can find me on Instagram. You can DM me in any way that you'd like. You don't want to do an interview, but you want to share your story, I would ask that you send me a written version. You can leave out your name. You can leave out names of everyone if you like. I'm not interested in doxing anyone, so that will not be happening here. You can use handles. You can use no names at all. The point is, if you have a story that you would like to share and you believe it could be powerful for someone else to hear so that they understand that they're not alone and that this has been going on everywhere, please send me a written form of your story. I would ask that you would include your state. I think that people need to understand how widespread this is. So far, we have stories from Massachusetts, Missouri, Florida, Louisiana, obviously California, many, many more. I would love to share it. So if you're willing to write something in writing that you're comfortable being said, and I will protect your name, your anonymity. I don't need to know any of that. I will read it for you. So I will continue to do interviews. I will collect as many stories as people are comfortable in sharing. And I will do an episode where I read all of your stories and I tell everyone what state you're from. And unless a couple other things don't pop up or get put on my heart that I need to do as far as the series goes, it'll probably be wrapping up. I would say around 2-3 weeks. I don't know. It could be in 5 days from now. It could be in 2 weeks. I'm really hoping it's not like months. But I'm in the hands of God and I'm going to trust him and wherever he leads. And I will not turn my back on any person who wants to be heard, period. We have been censored too long. It's absolutely wrong. I thought that was at least one thing every one of us could agree on, is that we would not silence one another, that we would not silence the truth. I can't believe the level that it has happened in this space. I have zero justification that anything about it is okay. And everyone who has the power to do something about it and has not, I hold responsible. So whether you're not going to share your story or you are, if you're in a state group, you're nervous to do the right thing because the pressure around you. All I would say is you have yourself to answer to and God alone, depending on what you believe. These people aren't going to be there when you have to give an account for what you did in the world. So I would ask you to be brave on some level. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to just fucking go public. But you can say, no, I won't comply with this. I won't do this. I won't turn over on people because of XYZ reason. I appreciate you guys for being here. One thing I'm getting from this is a lot of compassion for a lot of people. There's a lot of anger, a lot of misplaced anger. And I would just ask everyone to consider forgiveness when you're ready. You know, we all fell in love with a woman who has done horrible things to our nation and other nations, admittedly. And I've never received an apology. I'm not sure if any of you have, but one thing we did was hold forgiveness for her because she teaches an incredible lesson about redemption. And I hope that we can exercise that towards one another as we're going through this messy time in our community of banning and truth and banning and truth and people awakening in the most beautiful, spectacular way I have ever seen. So I love you all. Open invitation. Please, please, please reach out to me and tell me how I can let your story be heard. Even if you're a little nervous, just remember someone needs to hear it. If you saw the DMs I got of people laughing at shared experiences that are actually really crazy in hindsight and having some healing moments, or just saying, I can't believe that exact thing happened to me. Oh my God, I'm not crazy. It makes a difference. I also want to thank Wonderland for coming on last week because she knew that it would result in attacks and nasty shit. And either way, I'm not saying it's not justified or it is. Everyone has a right to the way that they feel. But I want to thank you and her, if you're listening, again, for having the courage to put yourself out there, because I know that she is at a place in her life where she is moving on fully and she wants to put the past behind her, and she has every right to do that. She did not have to stop and do this, but she said to me, if just one person is helped from this, then it's worth it. So whether you like her or not, I'm very grateful that she was willing to speak up, and I know it's helped many, many people. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. There's another interview in the works. It will be dropping very, very soon. I'm very excited about it. This is an incredible person I got to talk to the other day, and they are full of wisdom and compassion, and they love Tori still, but they do want to share their story, and it'll kind of help you guys see, like, not every one of us is going to come to the same conclusion, like I said earlier. And I think he can bring a lot of hopeful optimism in the midst of the situation. But don't be afraid of the truth. Don't be afraid of the light. Don't be afraid of anything. Life's too short. Freedom's always been the goal, right? Anyway, thanks for listening.